We were talking last week about Gnostics, and Carl Jung was an eminent psychoanalyst. And what were we talking about Gnostics as being? Knowers. Okay? Knowers. You know. I know. It's not a question of having faith. What is faith? Faith is something you have to have when you're not sure. That's all it's for. When you're not sure, you need faith. But when you know, you know. And it's not a knowledge that can be taught. It's not a knowledge that comes to you from instruction through a book. It's something that develops from within you. It's a feeling within yourself that you know without any doubt. And it's not even something that you can convince anybody else of, because it's something that each and every person has to find for themselves. There's no shortcut to it. There's no way of coming to a church or going to an organization or reading a book. And you have to put all of that stuff down. And you have to be willing then to look up into the heavens, look up into the cosmos, understand the work of the cosmos, understand the work of the cosmology of this time of Aquarius, and then put yourself into gear and flow with it. Then you'll know. Otherwise, there's no possible way. See, the Gnostics differed from the majority of people not only in beliefs of things, but in their fundamental view of the existence and its purpose. There's a purpose. We did it again last night, you know. The thing that we do here is say, hey, look, you know what this is for? It's a decoration. This is a speaker. You know what that's for? This is a Bible so we can read out of it. This is a platform to hold the book. This here are chimes to make, now these are lights. And even down to the chair, we say, here's a chair. You know what that's for? At one time, this was a thought in somebody's mind. And the chair even has screws. Even the little screw, you know. But if you turn around and look at the person, just go ahead, turn around and look at the person sitting next to you. What the heck is that for? I don't know. I guess to eat, maybe have a little fun, dance the Delbert dance. But what are you for? Nobody knows. And the reason you don't know, because you've never flown and drifted in meditation into the purpose of the universe so it could be conveyed to you. There's a purpose for all things. There's a purpose for Jesus being crucified. All part of a mythology that says that you must be. The sun is crucified. The sun is in the winter solstice. The sun rises on December the 25th. The sun enters the waterman Aquarius as Jesus did. The sun rises to be the Lamb of God in the spring equinox. And then in the summertime, the sun sits at the eastern sky in the northern hemisphere, or the right hand of power, and summer comes to life. There's a purpose for it. The sun has to go through the cross on December the 21st. If it went through Taurus, Jesus would have been gored by a bull. There's a purpose for everything. And they're saying to you that here in the center of your abdomen is a solar plexus. It is the energy, it is the fire, and you must take it from the abdomen, and through your meditation and the crucifixion of light, you must let it rise up to the pineal gland of the brain, which is Aries, and then it will sit at the right hemisphere of the brain, the eastern sky, and summer will come to your life. That's the purpose. And all of the gray and all of the dead. And all. Do you know what's an interesting thing? If you look, remember years ago we put that thing from the New York Times in the back about the experiment they had with the pineal gland. It said secretes melatonin, and melatonin kills cancer cells. Yesterday on CNN they had a 5-minute program on melatonin. Melatonin. Doctors are starting to, what is this, they're saying? Doctors are finding out some strange powers in melatonin. And they're trying to figure out, how do we use it? And they found out one thing. They're going to start prescribing melatonin for people who can't sleep, because melatonin has it's almost like an intoxicant. It'll put you to sleep when you're tired. You know, when I said to Joan, it's almost like an intoxicant. You know what it must be? It must be the new wine. It must be the new wine that the scriptures talk about. Melatonin that flows through the body. And it's only activated by the pineal gland of the brain. And it's only activated by the pineal gland of the brain when you turn off the light from the outside and look within where it's dark, and then melatonin starts to flow. You see if you can pick that up on CNN. There's a 5-minute thing they do on melatonin. But I said to them, how could this be all of a sudden in this age, and after we've talked about it and you've seen it, and then it's turning on the television and talking about melatonin? And that's what happens when you meditate and it starts to flow into the body. And it also has the ability to kill cancer cells, according to the New York Times. But what is the traditional concepts that you've lived by all of your life? You know, that the mind is ruled by biology rather than psychology, that, you know, we were involved in this world for some purpose. I don't know what it is. So you go on doing the best you can, hoping that sometime, somehow, some kind of purpose will emerge from this meaningless conforming that you've done all of your life. You've gone to church, you have the slightest idea for what reason. You've gone there because you're scared to death that there may be a hell somewhere. That's the only reason you've showed up in those places. Maybe it's true, then what will you do? You know? Can you imagine such a thing as grown people who've been to school, who've been to high school, who've been to colleges, and they've allowed a group of God knows what that come out of the Dark Ages teaching about a place that you go after you die where they stick you with forks and fry you forever because you went to Atlantic City? Oh, well, you know, this is it. There's a hell. And then if you're good, and if you join their group and do the things the way they say, then you go to a town called heaven. On some planet somewhere. And you'll play harps and you'll do this and do that. And you know, what it is simply a lie. And a lie that is allowed to hang around long enough simply becomes the truth. After a while, everybody says, oh, this must be true. And so they'll kill you if you don't. I had people that called me up and screamed and because I said there was no hell. And I'm going to tell, how dare you say such a thing like that? You know, I said, well, you must be looking forward to it. I mean, I don't know. Gotta be a hell. What are we going to do with all these bad people? What are we going to do with all of them, you know, that don't follow our way? And that's basically what it is. It's all put together in order to control people. So the Gnostics were a little different. They said, not so. Money, power, government, raising of families, paying taxes, the endless chain of entrapments and obligations, and the traditions were totally rejected by them. Does no good for you whatsoever. Has nothing to do with your understanding of your purpose. Has nothing to do with your movement into that which is the Sophia, which is the wisdom, which is nirvana, which is the oneness with nature, which is the carrying of us all above all of this insanity that we've been involved in. We're trying to get security. You know that. You've tried to get security. Your family plans for security. You get your kids, you're going to make sure they have security. I got news for you. You're living on a tennis ball that's going through the universe at 40,000 miles an hour with nobody driving it, and you're looking for security. All kinds of things are shooting by. Where are you going on this thing? I want security. And so what do? You take a little kid, well, he's this big, and you teach him about the devil and hell and demons and fires and scare them to death. I used to do it. Did you ever do it when I was a kid? I used to look. I used to see things hanging on the wall. Oh, there's somebody in here. I used to look under the bed to make sure the devil wasn't there. Scared to death and all of this stuff. And then, oh, what happens now? Ha ha! As soon as the kid gets old enough to walk, we're going to put him in the Little League or the Little Football League. And we're going to say to him, listen, Gerard, Jack's Amico is paying for those shirts. Don't screw it up. And you got a kid standing out there in center field. He's a nervous wreck. He's 8 years old, a nervous wreck. And a ball comes to him. And he spins around like this. And the ball hits him in the head. And the father won't talk to him. And the mother screams. You can walk home by yourself. And you got an 8-year-old kid standing out in center field having a nervous breakdown. Oh, that's not the end of it. Now we're going to send you to college. You're gonna be able to afford a psychiatrist just like your dad.